What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp here for the Wrestling Inc. podcast, post-WrestleMania 32 edition, brought to you by TrendyButler.com and DDPYoga.com/Wrestling Inc. I am joined by the man, Vince Russo. Vince, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, Sean. Long night. I mean, how many hours of I didn't start till 5 o'clock, I'll be honest with you, but it was still about 5 hours.
Yeah, it was, 7 hours from the beginning to the end. Raj Giri hopefully will be calling in live from Dallas, get a little report from him. He's been there all week checking things out. Vince, you were in Dallas for a couple of days too.
Well, yeah, not really a couple. I got in Friday night, and I worked the WrestleCon convention yesterday, and I came home as soon as it was over, so I was basically in and out in a day.
So WrestleMania, we're going to go through sequential order this time. Usually we go in order of importance. We'll kick it off from really, well, I'll say this. If you were to ask me my mood after this show, I would have to say indifferent. What would you say that yours is, Vince?
I'm going to say either a cross between disbelief or denial.
And we'll preface this by talking a little bit. I don't know, maybe it's just me. While I was entertained through the majority of this show, probably not very much towards the last hour, the last couple of matches, I found some of the decisions that were made just utterly baffling. Am I alone in that?
Well, you know, Sean, I got to tell you, bro, like, let me just give you I'll give you a couple of broad strokes, and then we can go from there. But here are my broad strokes that I took away from this. First of all, bro, I was entertained too, Sean. I'm not going to lie. I was entertained. It was a long night, but I was entertained for the most part of it. I'm not going to complain about that. One thing I felt, though, Sean, to be honest with you, was we had seen like so many of these matches and physicality between the opponents in the last 5 or 6 weeks that I really think that took away from a lot of the matches. I mean, I really do, because we've seen so much of it leading into this. Number two, Sean, I got to tell you, bro, they were on a pattern that I was starting to believe they were going to go the other way on everything. And I was like kind of cool with that. Like, there was some surprise finishes at the beginning, and I'm sure we'll talk about them. And I was kind of cool with that because I was like, holy crap, they're going to go the other way with everything. But I think once we got to the Ambrose-Lesnar match, we started going in the same routine, and I see Raj has joined us.
Hello? Hello?
Sean, I've lost your audio. I cannot hear you.
Can you all hear me now?
Now I can.
Okay. So apparently, we'll pick it up from here. Apparently, there were some issues getting into the arena for a lot of people, Raj included. Apparently, what was going on towards the beginning of the show is the AT&T Center, of all places, their Wi-Fi went down and they were unable to scan tickets. As you all know, that's the way that they make sure that tickets aren't counterfeit these days. And you were looking at an 80% empty arena for the first match, Ryback versus Kalisto, and it really looked like WWE was stalling to even start that match. That match didn't even start until 5:45 Eastern time. We saw Kalisto defeat Ryback. Nothing special about this match. Nothing really surprising about this match either. It was a little bit better than your normal Raw match, but there was nothing to write home about. Vince, regarding this booking, regarding Kalisto at least winning, how did you feel about that?
Well, Sean, I'm not going to lie to you, bro. I didn't watch the show till 5 o'clock. I mean, I just didn't listen. Today was the first day of baseball, and I was much more interested in baseball than the pre-show. I watched the entire show for 5 hours. But again, bro, I don't know. I guess in their mind, in the booking with this, they got Kalisto over, and Kalisto is the USA champion. I guess, beating a Ryback gets him over more, but as much as it gets him over more, it also buries Ryback more. So, you're getting one talent over, you're really hurting another talent. Your booking's got to be done in such a way that both guys get over. And I can't imagine how Ryback got over in this match, even without seeing it.
Yeah, and they didn't really have much of a chance anyway. There was nobody there watching it. Like I said, about 20% of the crowd was actually there. Not a hot start for them. We did have Renee Young, Lita, Byron Saxton, Corey Graves, among others on the panel. Corey Graves was over with the Dallas fans, which for good reason. He's a fantastic announcer. Lita teased that she would have an announcement later on in the show, which she did, and it was a pretty big one. But yeah, it's inexcusable to not have a backup plan in order to get into the arena. Could you imagine a situation like that happening at WrestleMania events when you were there?
I could imagine, man. I would hate to be dealing with Vince. He must have been going absolutely ballistic. That's not on the WWE. That's on the arena. He must have been going insane, especially like you said, Sean, if they were trying to stall, and there's no question they were. He must have been going absolutely nuts.
Also, guys, if you're listening right now on the YouTube page, leave us a thumbs up. If you're listening later on iTunes, leave us a positive review. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page. We have exclusive interviews, all kinds of new content. We posted a video of Nakamura's entrance at the NXT tapings yesterday. Lots of cool little things that we pick up here and there. So be sure to go ahead and do that. Also, if this is your first time listening to the Wrestling Inc. podcast, Vince Russo also joins us on Mondays after Raw. Then we have a Wednesday show, which is primarily non-Monday Night Raw stuff, NXT, Ring of Honor, Lucha Underground, TNA, things like that. Then a Thursday midweek show after SmackDown to catch you up on all the news. But after Lita's announcement, well, actually, she announced that she was going to make an announcement. They had a 10 Diva match. Did you get to watch that match?
Nope, I did not watch any pre-show. There was nothing.
I was shocked.
Yeah,
I was shocked, Vince. Like you would have been very surprised with this match. I thought it was an exceptional match. There were a couple of missed spots here and there, and you're going to have that. Eva Marie looked good in her limited time in the ring, which they made sure she did. Emma, really, this was a cool redemption story for Emma, going from being demoted to NXT. She was taken off the road full time with main roster WWE and sent down to NXT, and she was touring around Florida for the last several months. Came back to WrestleMania. Lots of cool spots in this match. A lot of fun stuff happened in this match. These girls took something that was looked at as a throwaway match, and they made it their own WrestleMania moment. And that's something that I can't say that Ryback and Kalisto did. I can't say that the Usos and the Dudley Boys did. That's something that I can't say that a lot of other people on the roster did. Brie Bella won the match with a beautiful transition into the Yes Lock. A really good one. If you haven't seen it, I highly encourage you to check it out. And she got the win. They also teased that Eva Marie had tension with her teammates, which I still wonder why they put her on this team to begin with. But after the match, Nikki Bella came out in her gear and her neck brace, and it's almost like they were bidding farewell to the WWE. It looks like Brie Bella is going to be retiring, Vince.
Well, I think we all expected that, and I kind of don't blame her, man. Since Daniel Bryan can't work anymore and he had to retire, her being on the road all the time by herself. I've worked with a lot of married couples, and the minute there's a separation and one's on the road and the other isn't, that usually spells problems. So I definitely think she's making the right choice, and I think it's a good move.
Yeah, I agree. This match did a really good job of not exposing any weaknesses in anybody. There were a few little spots. Alicia Fox looked really good in the match. This was way more than what anybody could have expected, and the reception I got was that people either absolutely loved it or completely hated it. But for what it was supposed to be, I thought it over-delivered. Then we got some rather big news on the pre-show, Vince. Lita came out, and it's something we had been hearing about for a couple of days before. She unveiled the new WWE Women's Championship, and it's basically a replica of the men's WWE World Heavyweight Championship with different colors, a red background, and women's championship across the bottom. You know, they're getting rid of the term divas. Maybe even that Total Divas win was kind of bidding adieu to that term as well. What do you think of the decision for them to go towards the women's title as opposed to the Divas title?
Me personally, I just think they're, again, playing to that niche audience. I mean, listen, bro, don't tell me there aren't casual wrestling fans out there that want to see hot girls wrestle. I like attractive hot chicks, bro. I'll still watch wrestle. I'll still watch Sable wrestle any time of the week over the three girls that wrestled tonight. That's my taste, bro. That's all it is. But Sean, I got to tell you something. She said something in the promo, and I know you know your facts better than me. She said something. Lita said that the winner of the match was going to be the first WWE Women's Champion. Bro, was there never a WWE Women's Champion? Bro, when Sable and those guys won, I don't think it was I don't know if it was the WWE title yet.
It was. It became the WWE title because the WWE switched over in 2002, and they still had that title until about 5 years ago. Yeah, so there definitely has been a women's champion before.
Yeah, the way Lita phrased it, she said the winner will be the first WWE Ladies Champion. I was like, well, what about all the other women that won it before the Divas Championship?
Yeah, I agree that one I didn't understand. I was like, there are, Lita was one of those women. She held that title. And so, so were so many of the other women that we saw this week. They were WWE Women's Champions.
Unless she just made a mistake, bro. I mean, I'm sure that's possible. Yeah, because when she said that, I'm like, well, they're not really the first, but
yeah. But I mean, I think that some of the women they have on the roster now look as good as any that they've ever had. I don't think that that's catering to a niche audience or anything. And I mean, the ability to see women of that nature is so much more prevalent now. In the 90s, not everybody had internet access. We all do now. I mean, if we want to look up a hot chick, we can look them up whenever we want. We don't have to tune in on Mondays.
Sean, you got to go back to who used to watch this show and isn't watching it anymore. That's what you have to go back to. And Sean, listen, bro, you and I are going to – I've got nothing against the girls. I like Charlotte, Becky. I like them all. I like all of them. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, bro, there was a time when the college students were getting drunk on Monday nights and not missing a Raw, and they wanted hot chicks on that Raw. You've lost a complete audience, bro, that you're not making any effort to get back. That's all that I'm saying. I enjoy Sasha and all those girls, bro, but they're female wrestlers. They're not exuding sex, and they're missing an entire demographic that tuned in for that at one time.
But couldn't they gain another demographic by
all
portraying
the wrestling fans are watching wrestling, bro? No, the answer to that, Shane.
I disagree because not every female watches every MMA fight, but every time Ronda Rousey has a fight, my house is full of men and women and everything. When John Jones is fighting, it's usually just men that want to watch the fight. So when Ronda Rousey is fighting,
could I ask you a simple question?
Sure.
Since the NXT invasion with the women, have the ratings gone up?
I don't know. I'd have to look at.
Not sure.
I would have to look at their.
You can look. The answer is
we don't get the quarter-hour breakdowns anymore, though. We don't know which segments do that.
Wow.
I think that tomorrow on the Today Show, it'll be really good publicity for them to, unveil this new belt and throw away the connotation of diva. Because really, I think the term superstar is even outdated because Vince, if somebody, just a normal person that you had never met before, walked up to you and said, I'm a superstar or I'm a diva, what would you think?
I would think they were conceited and cocky.
Yeah, I agree with that. Also, I think Lana is incredibly hot. I'd put Lana up there with Sable.
Oh, bro. Stop.
Come on, man.
Stop,
Come
bro.
on.
We're not even going to have that conversation, bro.
Well, also on the pre-show, we had the Usos versus the Dudleys. This was a very basic match. This was nothing special. The Usos won with super kicks, and then they put the Dudleys through tables. The crowd didn't want that, though, Vince. The crowd wanted the Dudleys to put the Usos through tables, which that whole Samoan family was not over tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure Bubba will have a lot to say about that privately.
That'll be interesting because the crowd, they were 100% behind the Dudley boys landing 3Ds through tables. So
I believe it.
Yeah. Went on to the main show. Kicked off. You get the fanfare. You get all that. By the time the main show of WrestleMania kicked off, it looked like everybody had gotten into their seats. So that's good. Good for them doing that, but I think it's still inexcusable if they didn't get everybody in there by the first match. That's ridiculous. It kicked off with the ladder match, and the betting odds had predicted Zack Ryder as the winner for over a week, and I can't even believe that happened. But Zack Ryder won this match, Vince. Keep in mind, this was a guy who was shown on their Breaking Ground show going to NXT to tag with a guy named Mojo Rawley in an effort to save his job. And now he's winning a title at WrestleMania. Now, this title reign could last 24 hours for all we know. A lot can happen on Monday night. What did you think of this match and the decision to go with Zack Ryder?
Well, bro, I didn't have a issue with it because in this type of match, anybody can win. I mean, anybody can win, and he wasn't one of the people we thought were going to win, but it's quite possible in a match like this he could win. Bro, it all depends if they want to do something with him or not. Listen, I mean, if everybody wants, and again, catering to the smart marks again, if everybody wants the Owens, Sami Zayn angle, they don't need a belt involved in that. Those guys can have their angle. So you can get somebody else over by using that Intercontinental title. Now, if he loses tomorrow, then it defeated the purpose. But if they actually want to do something with this guy, I mean, I didn't have an issue with it.
I agree with that. And also with the Zayn Owens point, I like that it was conveyed that their dislike of each other cost them both the Intercontinental title as well. They couldn't keep their hands off of each other long enough to win an Intercontinental title at WrestleMania because they hate each other so much.
And it's a shame they don't tell us the story why, but I guess we could fill in the blanks, I guess.
I hate that because they have a rich, storied history.
Silly.
And they own footage, and it's absurd.
Yeah.
And it's like you mentioned, and I'm on board with you. I thought that, Sami Zayn debuting was a good thing. The more it went along, I was like, Vince was right. They need some vignettes for him, especially when I see them wasting time on Golden Truth.
Bro, what about, we're going to get to it, but what about Corbin? What's his name? Corbin who?
Baron Corbin.
Bro, what about if he got a little bit of a build-up before this?
Yeah. And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that momentarily.
But yeah,
during the match,
bro. One thing I gotta say, bro. Honestly, these guys are insane when they do matches.
Oh yeah,
bro. This is where, bro, like I really stop and realize what unique animals these guys are, bro. Those guys are gonna work tomorrow. They're going to go on Raw and they're going to work tomorrow. And all I'm sitting here and I'm watching this match and I'm like, how are these guys going to get out of freaking bed in the morning, let alone work tomorrow? And you got to stop. And that's where I really, 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 really appreciate what they do, because I'm watching this and I'm like, my God, man, sometimes I don't know how they humanly do this, bro. I really don't.
Yeah, Sin Cara had an absolutely insane spot where he was tipped off of the ladder and springboarded off of the top rope onto the pile. Cody Rhodes, Stardust, pulled out a polka dot ladder and got a big pop from the crowd for the Dusty thing and had polka dots on his gear. I don't know why they didn't have Stephen Amell, Arrow. He was there. Why not have him come in there and push Stardust off a ladder? You're looking for WrestleMania celebrity tie-ins. That seems ready-made. Yeah. I also loved, like you said, Zack Ryder winning that really puts over that anybody can win this, and it should have.
Yeah.
And Zack Ryder, who is, dating Emma, this was a big redemption story for both of them. This is a guy who got himself over 4 or 5 years ago, was booked into oblivion. Now, granted, he was never going to be a top star, but people liked him. And instead of using him because people liked him, they used him to put heat on people that were struggling to get over. And this is, and granted, this probably won't last a long time, but this is a little bit of a redemption story for Zack Ryder. It's something nobody can ever take away from him.
Right.
And who knows, tomorrow night, we might see Samoa Joe come out there and choke him out. Hey.
Bro, you were breaking up there at the end, Sean. I didn't hear you.
I said that tomorrow night, by all means, Samoa Joe could show up and choke Zack Ryder out, and I don't think anybody would have a problem with that either.
Yeah, I don't either, but I also think it would be a total waste.
Indeed. Also, everybody busted out the great gear tonight, the WrestleMania gear. I love that. And, folks, if you want to be dressed in fantastic gear, visit our friends at trendybutler.com. Great company we're working with now. They give you amazing designer clothes for only $65 a month. They give you over $150 worth of clothes. I personally hate shopping. I said it this week on the podcast. I was like, please help me, people. I hate shopping. I hate clothes shopping in particular. And the good folks at Trendy Butler reached out. Trendybutler.com. Use the code wrestling10 and you will get $10 off your first order. Highly encouraged you to check that out. I'm getting my first box, I think, next week, so I'll let you all know what I get in there. Great folks over there. The right kind of clothes can change your attitude, and the right kind of attitude can change your life if things have been going a little cruddy for you. Maybe you watched a WrestleMania and you didn't like the way things were booked, and you're like, man, I need a fresh start. I need a new start. WWE didn't give me one. They didn't give themselves one. TrendyButler.com can. Code Wrestling10, all caps, and follow them at Trendy Butler on Twitter. Support the Wrestling Inc. podcast, my friends. Definitely check them out. But yeah, crazy ladder match. Insane ladder match. That led to AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho. Vince, and this is the fourth match they have had. The fourth. This was not a rubber match. We had a Styles Clash tease throughout the whole match. Well, a few times in the match. Styles finally hits it. Jericho kicks out. I thought that the match was very fun to watch. Very good. Chris Jericho won at the end with a code breaker after countering the phenomenal forearm. Jericho's sticking around after WrestleMania, but what did you think of the decision to have him beat AJ Styles?
I didn't have a problem the way they did it. I thought the finish was very smart where AJ was on the outside and trying to get the crowd involved, and that kind of gave Jericho just enough time to, get his wits about himself. But the problem is I don't think the announcers really sold that. It was good, and it was almost, like the crafty veteran Jericho. And AJ was excited being at WrestleMania for the first time, getting the crowd involved, wasted too much time to get into the move, but they really didn't sell it. And so I had no problem with the finish. I thought it made sense. I wish the announcers would have sold it more. But like I said, bro, I think it really took away from this match because we had seen it 3 times before. So what could we have possibly seen these two do that we really hadn't seen them do before, opposed to, them building up to a match and the guy's never touching and you're building the anticipation into the match. I also feel, bro, again, they kick out of stuff that should be freaking finishers. I mean, Jericho hit him with a code breaker earlier on. That should have been the finish. The Styles Clash should have been a finish. There's no such thing as finishing moves anymore, bro. If guys are going to kick out of everything, I just feel that, use them selectively. When they keep kicking out of finishers, then just do away with finishes altogether, because there's no such thing as a finisher.
I think on WrestleMania, I give that a little more leeway because it is the biggest show. But you're right. When they do it every single week, it gets really frustrating. The Styles Clash was a move that literally broke necks for a while.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of guys took it wrong, and that's why it broke necks. But it has that reputation. People know about the move, and it's a pretty simple move. But the reputation it's garnered over the past several years should probably be respected a little bit. And if you have a move that people, when people see the setup for the move and you hear the crowd go like that, maybe you should use that to your advantage. But I didn't get that. I don't know. I'll have to see where this goes before I really decide how I feel about Chris Jericho winning, because that was, I think about everybody thought that AJ Styles was going to win this match.
Yeah, I did too, bro. And this is when I started thinking they're going to go the other way in every one of these matches. This is going to be like a new beginning. I mean, that's really what I thought coming off of the first two matches. And I think what was the tag match next?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, even coming off of that tag match, and going with the heels. But, that changed as the night went on.
Well, I got to ask you, Vince, what did you think of the New Day's entrance?
I thought it was great, bro. I thought the costuming was great. I thought the entrance was great. It was a lot of fun. Bro, really, I have no problem. I had no problem with the match. I had no problem, with the finish. I just thought the match would have meant a little bit more if we just hadn't seen so much of them working together, in the last 5 weeks. That's all. But again, bro, when you get to the end of the match, bro, and you bring out, Austin and HBK and Mick, and I want to say, bro, first of all, I got to say,
HBK, the condition ridiculous. He's in,
ridiculous, freaking ridiculous. I mean, bro, ridiculous.
I don't know that I've ever seen him in that type of shape, ever.
Ridiculous. But, bro, it's like, bro, there's got to come a time, bro, every time they bring the legends out, and listen, nobody pots for those guys more than me. That was my time. But, I mean, bro, there's got to come a time when they stop bringing these legends out to bury their current talent. Yeah. I mean, because what does that say about their current talent, And they did it with those three guys. And, of course, it was entertaining, and it got a pop. I get it. They did it with The Rock. And, bro, I know they're looking for the pop at WrestleMania. I understand that. But, man, bro, they also make those guys lose some credibility along the way,
Yeah, that was the good and the bad of this match. The match itself, New Day versus League of Nations. Again, nothing special. League of Nations won. Then they got on the mic and they said, there are no three men that can take us on. That brought out Shawn Michaels in maybe the best condition I've ever seen him. Good luck getting anybody to stop asking for one more match now. When he showed up in his gear. In his gear, in amazing shape. It's that ddpyoga.com/wrestlinginc, you all. Then Mick Foley came out, and he also, no gimmick, he really used ddpyoga.com/wrestlinginc and lost 50 pounds over the last few months. So good for him. Then Stone Cold Steve Austin came out. They laid waste to the League of Nations. I was mixed on this because, as you said, they're essentially saying, well, three of our old-timers can beat up a few of our new guys. But if you're going to pick three old timers that are going to do that, three of the most over ever, I'm okay with. And League of Nations had just wrestled a match. So there is that way to get out of it. But the New Day tried to get them to dance with him. And they finally got Steve Austin to dance. And thankfully it ended with a Stone Cold Steve Austin stunner on Xavier Woods. Because otherwise, you got to end it like that. You can't have Stone Cold out there twerking.
Oh, yeah, bro. Bro, you saw that coming a mile away. I mean, there was just absolutely no way. You saw that coming. But again, bro, it's like, you get the Austin pop for the night, and I guess that's what people paid for. And I popped. I mean, I love Steve, but it's like you just, New Day just got beat, and you're ending it with dropping a guy in his head.
Yeah, by all means, this looks like this is going to be the send-off for Wade Barrett, who told the WWE earlier this year that he was not going to renew his contract. Do you think that's a good move for him?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do, bro. He's probably very frustrated. He probably thinks he could do better for himself. So I do. Bro, one thing, though, that was like, bro, could the nation, like, bro, it was like WrestleMania. Could they, like, have invested a couple of bucks in freaking gear?
Who, New Day? Or
No, the League of Nations.
They got new gear.
They came out.
They
all came out in trunks, bro.
Well, yeah, I mean, they did get new gear. It was all new. I think almost everybody on this show had new gear.
I mean, my gosh, bro, come on! That they had the New Day had such a colorful entrance, and they just came out in freaking wrestling trunks. I mean, come on.
I think that's an underrated thing, and I'd like to get your thoughts on that. I mean, we see Randy Orton, and he hasn't been on the show for a while, but like he'll wear the same thing for 2 years straight, the same black gear. Do you think that's something that they should maybe change up a little more, maybe to add any sense of freshness to the show?
No, WrestleMania, yes. I mean, I think it's bro, everybody breaks out their new gear at WrestleMania and they go the extra step. Everybody does. That's why, I mean, freaking New Day look like superheroes, which was good. I mean, they looked great. And then these guys come out in trunks and no shirts, and I'm like, guys, come on, man. You see what these guys are wearing. You're coming out looking like jabrones.
Yeah, I don't watch Dragon Ball Z, but I heard that New Day's gear was Dragon Ball Z inspired. Also, on the side of their giant box of Bootios, they had Bootrition facts listed, and in the ingredients, among them listed were Kofi Kingston's shoes and Howard Finkel's voice. So.
Nice.
Yeah, quite the entrance for New Day. I really liked it. Apparently, they had pitched an idea where they would come floating in on unicorns or something of that nature. But I think this was a fair consolation.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was entertaining. It was fun. It was good.
So we'll move on to a match that, quite frankly, I was disappointed in. Brock Lesnar versus Dean Ambrose. I don't know what either of these two men gained out of this match, Vince. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are, bro, here's what they're doing with Ambrose. They're borderlining between being a lunatic and being stupid. That's what's starting to happen because, bro, you can't, I'm a lunatic. I'm willing to do anything. I'll get in Brock Lesnar's face. I'll get in Triple H's face. You can't keep doing that and keep losing. Because at some point you look stupid. And listen, let me make myself clear. Dean Ambrose is not writing the show. He's doing what is written for him. But you are going to kill this freaking guy if you do not give him a win with some magnitude. If he's crazy and he keeps going out there and getting beat every week because he can't take the guys whose faces he's getting in, it's stupidity at some point. He just lost to Triple H at the last pay-per-view, losing to Brock Lesnar at this pay-per-view. So what are they going to do, bro? Now they're going to put him with a talent beneath him and let him beat that talent to give him a win. That ain't going to get him over. The guy has to freaking beat somebody. But you're right, Sean. It did nothing for either guy. Nothing.
Lesnar beat a guy that he was supposed to beat.
Right.
Ambrose didn't. It's funny, and I hate to talk about a match before we get to it, but Shane McMahon, as The Undertaker, kicked his ass with saying, come on. That should have been Dean Ambrose's spot in the Lesnar match if he was going to lose. Show that he's willing to take an ass kicking, but he's not going to give up. What does that do for Shane McMahon that it could have done something for Dean Ambrose? Yeah. It could have helped underline that he is a lunatic. And I didn't think the match was very good either. And I hate that because I've wanted this match for a very long time. And, as a Cincinnati guy, I love Dean Ambrose. I've always been a fan of Brock Lesnar. Always enjoyed watching him wrestle. But they're starting to make the special wear off on Brock Lesnar, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah. Well, Sean, again, it's going back to what the overall problem is. they're not getting guys over. They're not getting Ambrose over. They're not getting Wyatt over. They're not getting Reigns over. They're not getting guys over. They're not getting them over because of the freaking booking and the writing. It's not on Ambrose. It's not on Reigns. It's not on Wyatt. They're not getting them over because of the way they're booking them, bro. And I mean, like I said, I guarantee you, now Ambrose is going to fight somebody beneath him and get the win, and it is not going to elevate him whatsoever.
Yeah, incredibly disappointed with this match. There was really nothing of note in this match. Dean Ambrose had a nice little drop kick in the corner. Cool. But what happened to the wagon? Didn't he fill up a wagon?
Yeah, they lost a little continuity there, Sean.
Well, that's nothing new for them. Let's be real.
Yeah.
I can't properly convey my disappointment in this match.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. I felt the same way, and I felt bad for Ambrose. I really did.
I thought on your nuclear heat, you really hit the nail on the head. Maybe it was this week or last week. They had a chance to start anew.
Bro, they had a lot of chances tonight, and that's why, Sean, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt because, the Monday after WrestleMania is a big show. So maybe tomorrow. So, that's why I'm kind of giving them the benefit of the doubt. There were a lot of chances tonight that they did not take advantage of. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's part of a big weekend for them.
Right.
I mean, you have new debuts in NXT. You have new debuts in the WWE. You have new directions. But still, I mean, geez. It's even we talk a lot and we talk about how they are almost down to just their core audience, just their hardcore faithfuls. And let's be real, they've not even built much goodwill with them.
No. And
you're still not doing that.
That's why I'm telling you, Sean, I'm in absolute disbelief. And I still, this is not going to happen. That tomorrow night, Shane's gone and Roman Reigns is the babyface champion. I cannot believe for 1 second that's the way Monday Night Raw will end tomorrow night. I can't believe it, bro, because I never thought tonight would end that way. So I'm saying, okay, we still got tomorrow.
Yeah, and I even get the feeling those hardcore fans, the ones that used to be called the internet wrestling fans, I feel like they really do want what's best for the company because, the more popular wrestling gets, the more fun it is. If everything was like it was in the Attitude Era, it was at least fun, and we would love for that to happen again, but it's weird sometimes. I don't know. Next up, we had the women's match. In my opinion, I thought it stole the show as far as in-ring work happened. They started really slow, really sloppy. By the end of this, man, this was something special. It felt like a special moment. It felt like something cool. I saw a lot of people complaining that Ric Flair got involved in the ending, saying, why did they have to have interference from a man in a women's match? Did you not ever watch pro wrestling? You all must have hated Miss Elizabeth and Woman in WCW because every single week I watched that show, somebody was getting blasted in the eye with a high heel. But I really liked the match. It felt special. It felt different. It felt like they were ushering in a new era. Vince, I'd love to get your thoughts.
Well, Sean, I want to pick your brain on that a little bit. Listen, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed the match. I love all three girls. But, Sean, it took away from me because I've seen so much of it in different combinations in the last 4 or 5 weeks. So, when you say it felt special, I want to know, why did it feel special to you? And I was like, God, man, I just wish they hadn't worked together so much in the last 5 weeks. Because of that, it didn't feel special to me. So what made it feel special to you?
Well, the fact that they had the unveiling earlier in the night definitely helped. The video package they did before was very good. You could see how much Sasha Banks really cares about what's happening. Ric Flair puts it over a whole lot. That helps because, the guy gets emotional about everything these days. But the stakes, the new women's championship on this stage at WrestleMania, getting as much time as they did. I mean, they have a championship that looks just like the male counterpart now. I mean, that's an even playing field.
Okay.
That is right up there now. I mean, and they're trying to convey that. They're going to have the women's champion and the men's world champion on the Today Show tomorrow.
Yeah.
A lot of it went into it, plus seeing, and I've, not everybody watches NXT, but I've seen that and what they've went through. It felt like the culmination of what they had tried to build up to before. And I don't want to say they had to usher out the old era, because they didn't. They didn't necessarily have to. They had some good wrestling, some good in-ring competitors on their roster before. But this really was the ushering in of the new era of women's wrestlers that the Divas Revolution was supposed to be, but really wasn't, because they fumbled it so badly.
Yeah. But, Sean, I'm telling you, bro, here's what I think is hurting it. And keep your eye on this, because this is what hurt a lot of it for me tonight. But again, it goes back to lack of characters and storytelling, because when you don't have a lot of stories going on, they're relying on the matches. And in the last 5 weeks, we've seen these three girls work so much that even though it was another great match, it was another great match. Like, what could they possibly have done that we have not seen in the last 5 weeks? And that goes back to, with the lack of storytelling, there's going to be more matches. By the time you finally get to the big pay-per-view, it's a little of a letdown, because it's like, okay, we've seen this 4 times before. What are they going to pull out that we haven't seen before? That's why Undertaker and Shane meant so much. We never saw it before, bro. Yeah. They talked about, they never touched. That's why it meant so much. But, from Reigns and Triple H to the Divas, to the tag match, to Jericho and AJ, so many matches led up to this, that to me, it just took away from it a little bit.
I'm a big proponent of that, of not doing matches over and over and over again before you get there, because, and I've said it before, when I see a big MMA fight, if I've seen it like 3 or 4 times, the luster's gone, unless it happens to be outstanding, blow my doors off. That's why, I was excited to see Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker wrestle again, right? Because their match, was incredible. I thought that the Becky Lynch Charlotte stuff that they did when Sasha was out was very good, but the way that they shoehorned Sasha in, they could have been a little more creative in doing that. And they had Sasha attack Becky Lynch, then they were running around teaming together for weeks after that. That didn't make any sense. But if that's what we have to eat in order to get this new situation, I'm okay with that. Like I said, benefit of the doubt for this. But if they're doing this, well, it's weird for me to say this, that they need to give an equal amount of creative attention to the girls, but it doesn't look like they give a lot of creative attention to anybody these days. So maybe that might be a curse, Vince.
Yeah, no, it might be. It might be. But, I said this on last week's show. I think the right girl won. I think I like that they put Charlotte over. I think they can continue to build Charlotte. So finally, obviously I think they want to go to Sasha, but the more you build Charlotte, the more it's going to mean when Sasha beats us. I think the right person won.
Oh, yeah, there were a lot of people pissed when Sasha lost, because there are a lot of passionate Sasha fans, but I think it's the right move.
Yeah.
You keep building, because Sasha winning is going to be that feel-good moment, and I think it's a little too early for that, Vince.
I do too. I agree.
And Becky Lynch, I'm sure when she wins it, she'll have a feel-good moment too, but I see her more as like that Tommy Dreamer type of character that will always be a contender, and you can always go to her, and when she wins, it will be a really cool moment. But she's made herself valuable to the point to where she almost doesn't need that title, and that's good, because she's a genuinely likable person.
Yes. Yep.
She's in that role like almost Daniel Bryan was in. Yep. He didn't need that title to be over, and not having the title actually made him more over. It got people behind him even more. So really excited to see the direction that goes. Shane McMahon almost killed himself, Vince. My heart was beating out of my chest, and it's really the first time in professional wrestling, like whether it's me being there live, having a friend in the ring, being in there myself, watching it on TV, watching it anywhere, that I was concerned. I was legitimately concerned about what was going to happen in this match. And I'll be honest, I was concerned because I didn't want a headline the next day saying, "Man dies at WrestleMania." And I thought that was a legitimate possibility.
Well, Sean, I think it made it even worse, like when he came out with his kids. And yeah. I thought that was a great moment. His kids are beautiful. I never seen them before. I can't believe how old they are.
The Mean Street Posse has really shrunk, haven't they?
Yeah, exactly. But I thought that was a beautiful moment. And I knew, bro, he was going to do something like absolutely insane. So seeing the kids kind of made it worse. Bro, I was there tonight, Sean, and I'm sure you remember, bro. Do you remember when Vince McMahon took his very, very first bump off a cage and hit the table wrong, and like his entire freaking ass was black and blue, like it was one of the worst things I ever seen in my life?
He broke his tailbone, didn't he?
Yeah, and bro, listen, he could have been paralyzed. I mean, that's how bad it was. But bro, it's like I can't listen. Sean, there was a time that I loved the business and I would have done anything in the world for it. But if I had 3 kids like that, bro, one miscalculation and I'm in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. I know Shane, and I know he's not going to hold anything back, and I know he's going to want to give 200%, especially in front of 100,000 people. But bro, one miscalculation and he's screwed up. And obviously he's okay. I mean, we haven't heard anything, but bro, I don't know. You got to draw the line someplace. You know, you just do. It was spectacular. It was unbelievable. You knew he was going to do something like that, but you know, the rationale behind it, I will never understand.
So leading up to that, they did kind of almost an MMA-based match. Shane threw in a beautiful flying back elbow for a guy who has the amount of experience that he has, and as little training as he underwent. He is pretty damn good in the ring, especially at 46 years old. But they went back and forth with the MMA style, and you know I'm a proponent of that as well. But I don't know if that works for Shane McMahon. I guess it had to in this because we're not exactly dealing with you know, it's Undertaker at 52. Shane McMahon at 46. We're not talking like prime Vern Gagne versus Billy Robinson here.
Right.
It wasn't going to be that. It was never going to be that. And that's why it was a Hell in a Cell match. Shane took a nasty, like when they did the cage fall, Shane bounced his head off the table as he fell out of the cage.
And again, bro, do you see how close he was to the edge of that table? His head was so close, bro. He hits the edge of that table with his head. It's good night, Irene, bro. He just missed the edge.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of people are like, "Why is this match even happening?" You know, ultimately, they were missing from this show Seth Rollins, John Cena in ring for any large amount of time, Randy Orton. The Rock wasn't allowed to do more than what he did. They didn't get Ronda Rousey like they wanted to get Ronda Rousey. So by all means, that was 5 big pieces that they didn't really have to work with and advertise. This is why it happened. And there was no bigger name. And I don't even think Goldberg would have been a bigger name to bring in for Undertaker. Shane McMahon in that spot. Well, one, and Goldberg wouldn't have taken the loss either, which is another big problem. I don't think there's anybody bigger they could have brought in for that. I think that was the right call.
I thought it was brilliant, bro. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I think they did a hell of a job. Bro, like I said, my only complaint was on the build-up up to WrestleMania. They weren't weaving it throughout the entire show that I think would have helped their ratings. Outside of that, I thought it was a brilliant choice. I thought it was a brilliant matchup. It was intriguing. You didn't know what the outcome is going to be. I just pray, bro, that you know, it's not, you know, he's not done, and there's something to that lockbox they were talking about, and that's part of the story. That's why I'm leaving it open, because I can't believe, you know, Shane got beat and we're not going to see him again, and that's the end of the story. I have to believe somehow, some way it will continue tomorrow.
So towards the end of the match, we'll talk about the big spot again. Shane beats the living hell out of The Undertaker with cameras and toolboxes, hits him in the head, which they're not generally allowed to do now. Laid The Undertaker out, climbed to the top. Well, he added a little extra beating. It's almost like he couldn't read the crowd because the crowd was ready for him to climb up. He did an amazing, breathtaking dive off the top of Hell in a Cell through a table. It went as perfectly as it could have went, that spot. Shane McMahon is unmatched. It isn't that crazy that the son of a one-time billionaire who never needed to do any of that stuff is completely unrivaled in taking psychotic spots like that, Vince.
That's hard, bro. That's hard. I mean, that's it, bro. It's two things. It's heart and adrenaline. Well, it's three things, bro. It's heart, adrenaline, and balls. It's the combination of those three things. I don't think anybody has the combination of those three things like a Shane McMahon. I really don't, bro.
Yeah, and like I said, I was concerned when he went up there, relieved when he got down because he hit this. He did it perfectly.
Perfect.
Here's my problem with the match. For 6 weeks, we have been told repeatedly that Monday Night Raw sucks. Then Stephanie McMahon comes out and says that we suck and that our lives suck and that we are idiots. And tonight she called the fans sheep. And what they are telling us now.
And she also said, bro, let me add this in. She also mentioned that come tomorrow night, there'll be no hope. Can you imagine, bro? The wrestling fans are burying the show and you're telling them, but tomorrow night, though, if you thought it was bad now, tomorrow night, there'll be no hope.
And I think their idea is that Roman Reigns should be the one to save us. We don't want it.
Don't say, bro, that can't be there. Right? That can't be. It can't be.
I hope not. I hope not, Vince.
It can't be. It can't be. I'm telling you, bro. There's going to be some kind of twist tomorrow.
So I hope so. I'm really hoping so, Vince. And like I said, I'm reserving judgment until then. But
yes,
we're told that Raw sucks. You know, they have to go hand in hand at some point. Part of the reason that our lives suck has to be that we devote 3 hours, and in our case, way more than that every week, to watching Monday Night Raw.
Well, not only that, bro. I was thinking tonight, and it was longer for you. I'm sitting here thinking, oh, my, bro, I'm going to watch 8 hours of wrestling in 2 days? Like, are you freaking nuts, bro? Like,
Vince, I left my house. Vince, I left my house once this week.
Oh, my God.
Because of WrestleMania coverage.
God bless you, bro.
That's legit.
Yeah.
I cleared my schedule, told Raj, and God, I can't imagine how it was for Mark Middleton, who does all the news for the site. Raj was in Dallas. Me and Mark stayed home, covered all the news because, you know, stuff's flowing in constantly, interviews and press and all that stuff. So I made sure everything was clear. And, you know, and today wasn't even the worst of it. It'll be much worse tomorrow when all the news about WrestleMania and the rumors and the reports come out and things like that. So, you know, I get here and I'm told, you sheep, your life sucks. Yeah. Raw sucks. And I'm like, man, is it worth it? Is it really worth it? Is podcast one worth it, Vince?
Well, bro.
If you're driven down the path of depression, is it worth
it? Trust me, bro. It's not going to be 100% wrestling. It can't be. I wouldn't be able to survive.
Well, perhaps we can get an antidepressant sponsor on the Wrestling Inc. podcast.
There you go.
I'm gonna contact some people, see if we can get that to work. Yeah, this match. Well, a lot of the booking on this show really seemed like it was Vince McMahon saying, here's your shit sandwich, enjoy it, and have a smile on your face while you eat it. Like you said, a lot can happen tomorrow, so hopefully some resolution is given.
Bro, I'm telling you, if we come out of tomorrow and Shane's got nothing to do with the company and they don't talk about a lockbox and Roman Reigns is the babyface champion, I can't believe that for a second. I cannot believe that's going to happen. I'm sorry, I can't.
So we had a battle royal, an Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. There was no, you know, people speculated all week, will Cesaro be in it? Will Rollins, or not Rollins, but Cena, will the Wyatt family? Well, there was a surprise. Well, there are fewer surprises. Tatanka What did you think when you saw Tatanka in that ring?
I'm glad Tatanka got a payday, and I always feel that way. Tatanka Page got a nice little payday. Good for them. I'm happy when I see guys like that get a payday.
You know how DDP got in that shape, don't you?
DDP Yoga, bro.
DDPyoga.com/Wrestling Inc., my friends. I've been preaching it for weeks, have I not, Vince?
No, for months, bro. Months.
And it is proven now. It is proven, Vince, that even at 60-something years old, you can co-main event WrestleMania with DDPyoga.com/Wrestling Inc. You all thought my plugs were crazy before.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Amen, brother. Amen.
The ammunition has been restocked, my friends. DDPyoga.com/Wrestling Inc. If you saw, Wrestling Inc. founder Raj Giri attended the excellent DDP Yoga workshop this morning, said he had a blast, said it was packed. Check out, and also, did you see the shape that Scott Hall was in?
Yeah, I saw him yesterday, bro. He's in terrific shape. Yes, I saw him up close.
He looks better. I said he looked better than his 2004 TNA run. Like, he is in outstanding shape.
Yes,
thanks to DDPyoga.com/Wrestling Inc.
Yep.
Also, of course, you've seen what it does for Jake the Snake Roberts. You can also check out the Jake the Snake Roberts documentary, The Resurrection of Jake the Snake, a fantastic companion piece to the uber depressing Beyond the Mat and the WWE documentary he did. A fantastic way to end that story. You can check it out now on Vudu, Amazon, Google Play, iTunes, PlayStation Network, all over the place on video on demand. Also, drop a DDP or DDP Yoga a line. Tell them that Wrestling Inc. sent you. Tell them how proud you are of him for getting back in the ring at like 60-something in the Battle Royal. That was a shocker to me, Vince.
DDP in there?
Yeah, that surprised me. I didn't think we would see him in there.
Probably say, I mean, seriously, let me plug your DDP Yoga. The guy's in sick shape, bro. It didn't surprise me at all.
I was still shocked that he was in a situation.
What surprised me, bro, is I think Vince McMahon, somebody needs to smarten Vince up, because I think Vince McMahon still believes that Shaquille O'Neal plays center for the Orlando Magic, bro. I think somebody needs to tell Vince that Shaq's been retired from the NBA for over a decade now, bro.
Oh, no, it's like 5 or 6 years. I'll say this. He is super entertaining on NBA on TNT. Him and Charles Barkley,
bro.
If it were him and Charles Barkley butting heads,
bro,
that would have been cool.
Tell you something as a shoot. I'm not a big basketball guy. I watch the TNT pre and post game shows just to watch those guys. I don't even care about the game or who they're talking about.
Oh, man.
Man.
Shaq came out. He was in the Battle Royal. I thought it was a cool spot. I thought it was cool. It didn't hurt anybody. It was one of those moments, he'll be inducted into the celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame eventually. A cool moment, I thought. Again, and if you can do that, and it adds a little bit to the match, and it doesn't come at the expense of anybody, I think that's pretty cool. Damian Sandow got a nice little pop. That was cool. Fandango was hilarious in getting thrown over the top rope. Crowd was super sad when Mark Henry got tossed out, though, Vince.
Yeah, no, I mean, there was a possibility he could have won this thing. So, yeah, I think they were a little disappointed.
And I really thought it should have came down. If looking, back on things, I think they should have built that up with Mark Henry saying, this might be my last WrestleMania. I really want my WrestleMania moment that I've never had. And then if you want to get a guy over, Baron Corbin won, and I think you're going to grow to like him. But the WWE did nothing to introduce him. He's known to NXT fans. He is not known to WWE fans by and large. He did get a nice pop because there is a large contingent of people who know him. NXT chants, but he's supposed to be a heel. He is a heel.
Well, can I tell you what was worse than that, Sean? I'll be honest with you, bro. I've seen Corbin wrestle a couple of times at NXT, and I mean, I've liked him, but to me, like, he kind of looks like he hasn't grown into his own body yet. I think the guy's going to get bigger.
He's actually gotten smaller. He was in the NFL and he lost a bunch of weight.
Yeah, because he's fairly young, right, bro?
I think he's 30.
Is he that old?
Yeah. Because
But
he
anyway,
had an
I've
career.
seen him. I liked him. I didn't have an issue. But again, bro, WWE not building him up going into this thing. But here's another thing where I think he made a huge mistake, bro. Would you assume, Sean, is it safe to assume the guy's going to be a heel going forward?
He should be. He's a very good heel.
Yeah, well,
he
bro,
plays.
He's not a good heel if he wins the match and he's standing next to the Andre trophy crying, bro.
Yeah.
You know, King Kong Bundy and Big John Studd wouldn't have been crying when they won Battle Royal. That's the first thing I'm like, what the freak are you doing, bro? I'm assuming he's going to be a heel. You can't be crying because you won the match. What are you doing, man?
So, and it's weird because that plays against his NXT gimmick. His NXT gimmick is that nothing before him mattered, and that people who came up through the indie circuit are stupid for having to waste their time because he's never had to waste time wrestling in gyms before. So he holds this resentment towards them that fans like them more than him because he came from an NFL background. If I were the WWE, I'd have him go out there and destroy that trophy tomorrow night and say that Andre the Giant couldn't hold a candle to him and that he's the new Giant, all that stuff. They really, really, really could have made an instant impact with him as a heel if they had built that up as Mark Henry's swan song. Mark Henry's going to go. Mark Henry's going to leave. He's going to bid a tearful goodbye, and the last person in the ring is Baron Corbin and Mark Henry, and Baron Corbin puts the brakes on that.
Bro, again, maybe they do that tomorrow, Sean.
I would love that. Oh, God, I would love that. But, yeah, I think you'll grow to like Baron Corbin. You know, he's improved a lot over the last year. Don't know if he's quite ready, but he's probably as ready as he'll ever be based on what I've seen in NXT. His match Friday was nothing special, but, you know, okay way to introduce him, but they need to do some vignettes on him. Definitely. Also, something I think you would like, Vince. During a promo on last week's NXT building to the Austin Aries match, he said that he was going to beat Austin Aries and send him back to whatever high school gym he came from, to the point to where he would be signing autographs next to Virgil at conventions. And I was like, I don't know who fed him Virgil's name, but that's gold. That's fantastic. Virgil, a true character these days. So next up, we had The Rock showing up. He had what I thought was a T-shirt gun. And as somebody said, if that's a T-shirt gun, it malfunctioned. He set his own name on fire, Vince.
Right.
He had a flamethrower.
Yeah.
Indoors. He had a flamethrower. He came out. He announced the attendance, 101,000 and some change. You think that's a work number?
Well, bro, they didn't sell it out, right?
They did sell it out.
Well, no, I don't think they did, bro, because they never said it was a sellout.
Oh, they had sold first run tickets out weeks ago. What had happened was all the secondary markets had bought those tickets, so all their tickets were sold. It was just there were probably some left on the secondary market, like from StubHub.
Then why didn't they ever use the term sold out? They never said they were sold out. I just assumed they weren't. Which, bro, I mean, I didn't. I just assumed they weren't because I thought they would have been saying that every 5 minutes. They never said it at all. I don't think that's a work number, bro. I thought they were going to sell it out. I mean, I said that all along, bro. Let me tell. I'm going to say this again. To bring that type of people into WrestleMania is ridiculous. What a job that is. It's unfreaking believable. Bro, I was at WrestleCon yesterday. These people come from all over the world to watch WrestleMania. The job they do promoting that thing. Bro, they do a better job than the Super Bowl. They honestly do. And to bring in 100,000 people is freaking believable. But like I said, bro, I didn't think they sold it out because I thought Michael Cole would have been saying that every 2 seconds. And speaking of Michael Cole, bro, can we backtrack for 1 second?
Sure.
Those announces could not have been any worse during the Taker Shane McMahon match. They were almost single-handedly killing the credibility of the match on their own. I don't know, bro, how after all these years when it's something out of the ordinary, you still don't know how to call it. Because once they get their hands on it, they make it seem so freaking phony and so freaking fake, they almost kill it altogether. Bro, guys, go back and listen to freaking JR shows and see how JR put over something that wasn't of the norm, because they practically kill it every single time. Saying somebody should go up to the cage and get Shane McMahon down. Come on, you freaking idiots. Do you not hear how stupid and ridiculous that sounds? If you don't know how to call it, go to Vince McMahon and ask Vince McMahon, how should we call this?
I was begging for Shane McMahon to not jump. I mean, is it that hard to convey actual emotion and empathy towards a human being?
I guess it is, bro. I guess it is.
My big thing is Byron Saxton. He might be the greatest color commentator in the world. I don't know, because he never offers anything. It's, wow, he really got hit hard, or,
bro,
yeah.
How do you not point out the fact that Shane McMahon is about to come off this cage 20 feet in the air, and his children and his wife are watching at ringside? How do you, bro?
He kissed them before the match even.
Bro, my wife would tell that story. My wife would tell. How do you not tell that story of the kids in the front row, the wife there? Oh my God, they may see their father become paralyzed. They may see their father. How do you not tell that story? And then we don't have Rinaldi doing the show yet.
Ronaldo. He did do the pre-show. At least there was that.
The pre-show doesn't matter.
That's true.
Bro, come on.
That's true. Yeah, that was weird. So The Rock came out. He announced the attendance. Then the Wyatt family showed up. And you had Bray Wyatt cut a promo on The Rock. And then The Rock did a great job on the mic. Well, he both ridiculed and put over Bray Wyatt. Put over Bray Wyatt big to the live crowd. And I noticed as The Rock was walking down, he was in boots and he had knee pads on underneath his gear, or underneath his sweatpants. I was like, something's happening here. Mm-hmm. And I had mentioned it before. I was like, I had actually mentioned the HBK Austin Foley thing. Have some legends go out there, throw out their finishes. Who's going to complain about an unadvertised 10-second match? You can't complain about that if you didn't see, if you weren't tuning in to expect it. The Rock challenged any of the Wyatt family members to a match, and he got Eric Rowan, pinned him in 6 seconds. I thought that was fine. You can't put Eric Rowan any further down than what he is, and it's not Strowman or Bray Wyatt, so I didn't have a problem with it. What did you think about that? The impromptu match and 6 seconds of The Rock.
Bro, again, it's just that there has to be a time when you freaking quit burying the guys on the active roster, man.
But against Rowan?
Huh?
But Rowan?
Yeah, I mean, bro, 6 seconds?
Yeah, it's Eric Rowan. Come on. Well, now, the happenings afterwards. John Cena returned. Don't know if he's back full-time, what the deal is. They fought off the Wyatt family, and Bray Wyatt got people's elbowed. I had a problem with that. Bray Wyatt should have just watched his boys, get laid out. Don't sacrifice the integrity of Bray Wyatt for a guy who's not going to be there tomorrow night, by all means. You don't have to do that. Bray Wyatt can look on, and, it also conveys that, well, Bray Wyatt has strange mind control over these two big guys, and he's not willing to take the ass kicking, but his boys are. That was the problem I had with it. John Cena's back. Really hope we don't get a third Cena Rock, because that would be pretty bad. You think Cena's back for good, or you think he's still hurt?
Bro, some of the things he did in the ring, I mean, he looked like he was back. I mean, he said, I know, I was reading it from you guys. He said he's been cleared, so I would think he's back.
Well, I mean, Cesaro had said that he's cleared, and Randy Orton has said that he's ready to be back, and a lot of people, Daniel Bryan has once said that he was cleared, so you never know what really cleared is until you see him back.
Yeah.
And we see a lot of people saying the Wyatt match or the Rowan match killed their credibility. Not Eric Rowan, you guys. Now, I do agree that the beatdown of Bray Wyatt at the end should not have happened. Bray Wyatt is just has been put so low on the totem pole. Now, granted, what they did here was probably bigger than anything else. They're better off here than they were in that battle. What do you think, Vince?
You broke up, bro. Tell me what you said again.
I said I do think that even though they were made to look that way, they were in a bigger spot here than they would have been anywhere else. Because what would they have done? Been in the Battle Royal?
No, I mean, bro, they put them in a great spot, but again, bro, they didn't utilize that spot. You know, they put him in a spot where we asked the question, why are we afraid of the Wyatt family? That's the spot that they put him in. So listen, bro, I was thrilled to death to see Bray Wyatt in a huge WrestleMania spot and to see the crowd with the cell phones and the whole 9 yards. But again, bro, what did this do for Bray Wyatt?
It didn't do anything
Nothing.
for. I mean, the brief Rock putting him over to the crowd, okay, a little bit, but gets dropped right after.
Yep.
So we had a main event, Vince. I did not like this match.
Bro, look, before we get to the match, you know what's absolutely hysterical to me?
What's that?
Is it just by chance that every WrestleMania Triple H gets the best entrance, bro? Like,
oh, come on.
Bro, is he really that egotistical that no matter who else is on the card, Triple H is going to get the best entrance? I wonder if that's written in his contract, bro.
He always gets a fantastic entrance. Stephanie got a fantastic entrance as well. She had the skull mask, all that stuff. During the pre-audio, like when they were leading into the segments, they showed the matchup screen and they played the Sympathy for the Devil song that Motorhead actually covered and recorded for Triple H before Lemmy's death. I thought that was cool. Triple H, fantastic entrance. Roman Reigns' was kind of superhero inspired, which is so just symbolic. They have been kicking each other's ass on TV in brawls for weeks, and they started this match with a lockup, a collar and elbow tie-up, Vince.
You said it, bro. I mean, that's the continuity, bro. That's what we talk about every single week.
Now, I know this is Triple H's style. It was way too slow-paced for my liking and this level of a match at this point. During the match, we got chants of boring. We got Olay chants for Sami Zayn. I think some chants for Chad Gable and Jason Jordan. Nakamura. They were not paying attention to this match midway through, and I felt like this match could have been about half as long as it was, Vince.
Yeah, no, and again, you know, Sean, like you said, bro, we've been seeing, you know, months of wild brawls with these two and guys getting bloody, and it's like, okay, guys, what are you going to show us now that we haven't seen before? You left nothing to the imagination. We've seen it all. So it was just a matter of, okay, let's see how they're going to finish this thing. That's it. That's really what it was.
Roman Reigns did a spear through the barricades, which is a spot we see on Raw all the time. You know, we saw, well, there have been rumors it would be a no DQ match. That wasn't the case. WWE never advertised that on their TV. They did on some shirts, probably some stuff that came out before they changed their minds. Roman Reigns won clean as a sheet with a spear in the middle of the ring and was holding the belt high. As they went off the air, there was a brief pop for Reigns as he speared Stephanie McMahon. My issue with that is, why did it have to be accidental, Vince?
Well, yeah, they're not going to go down that road, bro. Man-on-woman violence with the sponsors and the PG and all that crap. They ain't going to do that, bro.
And that's unfortunate because, you know, if you're likening this to an entertainment program, if you saw something like that on Breaking Bad, you wouldn't bat an eye. You'd be like, oh, you would bat an eye. You'd be like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Walter White just hit his wife on Breaking Bad. If it happens in WWE, it's like this weird thing where they have to be held accountable like it's not an entertainment program.
Yeah.
What did you think of this? Or do you think they are going to pull the trigger on Roman Reigns, not a heel turn, but a persona change? Tomorrow night, rather.
Sean, I can't believe they're not going to. I just can't. I can't believe that. So that's why, like, tonight, you talk about giving the benefit of the doubt. We have to see what happens tomorrow, because I said going into this show, there's no way Shane loses. There's no way Roman Reigns wins and is the babyface champion. But I said, but there is Monday. So I cannot believe tomorrow's show is going to end the way tonight's show ended. So I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt and see what happens.
I also am optimistic. Myself, like you, I think they still have a real chance to just start over, and they desperately need to start over. They really need to start over. They have told us that we are dumb for watching their show.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird. That's really, really weird.
And Shane McMahon has confirmed that by saying it's a horrible show under the leadership of Triple H and Stephanie. They've all said it and confirmed it.
Could you imagine if, when we had DDP on our show, if he said, "Man, your show really sucks."
Yeah.
And then we looked at the camera and we looked at everybody that was watching and we said, "Yeah, but they're too stupid to stop watching."
Yeah.
Could you imagine, Vince?
Well, but that's the case, bro. I mean, that's it.
Man, what was your favorite thing on this show, Vince?
Well, bro, I mean, come on. I'm not going to lie to you. When Sean and Steve and Mick came out, I popped. I mean, that was my time, man. That's when I was working. In ring wise, well, I mean, obviously, bro, the Shane Taker match, because that was really the only thing where you did not know what you were going to get. You knew he was going to do something nuts. You don't know what it was. You didn't really know what the finish was going to be. You didn't know if anybody was going to get involved. So that one, just because of the freshness and the unpredictability factor. So, them booking that match was brilliant. I can't hear you, Sean.
What was your least favorite thing on the show?
I would have to say, bro, probably New Day and the League of Nations, because I felt like I had seen it a million times.
You have seen it a million times.
Yeah. The entrance was great. Their costumes were great. But once the bell rang, there was nothing new to see.
How would you rate this WrestleMania?
On what, a 5? Scale of 5?
Scale of 5.
Well, bro, the boys worked their butts off. The girls worked their butts off. They could not work any harder. On their work rate, bro, I'm going to give it 3.5.
Yeah, I really enjoyed watching this show, for at least the most part of it. I had fun watching the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What took away from that is, and I try for pay-per-views and WrestleMania especially, I try to detach what's going to happen after this? You know what I mean?
Right.
I try to detach that a little bit, but it didn't leave me very optimistic for what's going to happen a couple of weeks down the line.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm giving it a 3.5 on the optimism that something's going to happen tomorrow, bro. If something does not happen tomorrow, you're going to get a new record rating from me as it pertains to Raw.
I'm liking this rarely optimistic Vince. I need to put that,
because I can't fathom, bro. It's going to be business as usual after tomorrow. I can't fathom that, bro. I can't.
I hope not. They do have a chance. They have a real chance at, I think, of, not reaching Attitude Era numbers, but drawing a few more people in. They do have a chance. They have some people coming up that I think can help. They're going to be I know at least one new act, which I'm not going to say on the air, is going to be on Raw tomorrow that I was told explicitly would be there. And I think you'll be happy about it, Vince.
Enzo, baby. Is it Enzo?
Anyway, this show is brought to you. The show is brought to, I'm not saying anything because I don't want a bunch of people harassing me on the internet.
That's my favorite thing at NXT, Enzo.
My skin is not as thick as yours, Vince. I can't handle the criticism. I am a fragile being.
Me and Enzo, I'm gonna get Enzo in all kinds of trouble now. You ready? Here's a news flash for you.
Ooh.
Me and Enzo follow each other on Twitter, and I always put him over.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I am not going to say that is the act that is going to be on Raw tomorrow, but I was told that there is an act that's going to be on there. I heard about it a little bit earlier today, and I talked to one of my people, and they did confirm that. I guess it's not that big of a secret, but there you go. Guys, we will be back tomorrow night after Raw. Myself, Vince. I don't know if Raj will be on here or not. He had some audio issues tonight, obviously. Don't know if he'll be back home. Go to ddpyoga.com/wrestling inc. Try DDP Yoga out. You saw what it does. John Cena uses it. He has mutant healing powers. Also, check out the Resurrection of Jake the Snake video on demand. And check out our new sponsor, trendybutler.com. I love their stuff. They reached out. They said, Sean, you hate clothes shopping. We're doing it for you. We got a stylist that's going to pick out your clothes for you. And you get it $65. You get $150 worth of clothes. And if you use Wrestling 10 at sign up, you get another $10 off. Follow them at Trendy Butler on Twitter. Also follow their Instagram. Guys, thank you all so much. This is easily our most watched show. Like, the numbers are insane from what I'm looking at.
Yeah, well, that's why, bro, I got to get my plugs in, bro, before you go.
Yeah, Vince, I am not going to let you off this air.
And your $150 pants and everything like that, bro.
I'm not letting you off the air.
Listen, I got big news coming up, and as a matter of fact, if you let me get my cheap plugs in, I'll give you breaking news on tomorrow night's show after Raw.
Well, give it to us. I was setting you up. I was about to say, and Vince, you've got big news for yourself. I mean, it was revealed a few weeks ago, but you got big stuff coming up this week.
I got huge stuff coming up this week, Sean, and I really need everybody's support. I mean that. I got big stuff. First of all, I'll go through this as quickly as possible. We do video podcasting 7 days a week. You can go to russosbrand.com. The price is now $2.95 a month. That's 75 cents a week. And we have video podcasting every day. Now, that's going to go hand in hand, Sean, with we start on Podcast One on Tuesday. And Podcast One is going to take our audio from our video shows and play it every day of the week, Monday through Friday. It's a different show with a different theme every day of the week. It's free. It's on. You can go to podcast1.com. You can download their app. You can go to iTunes. But that starts Tuesday, and it's a huge platform for me. It's very, very important. And I'm going to tell you this, Sean, right now, because I'm not going to jinx myself. I've got a huge guest on the very first Swerve that will play on Podcast One on Friday. The interview is set up for tomorrow. So I want to make sure I get the interview in the can. You know how it is, Sean, tracking down wrestlers. You know how that works, bro. So I want to make sure the interview is in the can. Once I get it in the can tomorrow, on our show tomorrow night, I will break the news that who's going to be my very, very first guest on Podcast One. I will give you a hint, and I will tell you this. It is my chosen guest. There was one person I've not interviewed yet. And he, I'll tell you, it was a he. He was who I wanted. He was my first choice. I made the call, and he agreed to do it. I'll tell you who that is tomorrow night.
Are you saying it's the chosen one? Does he have a guitar?
No.
$3 or 75 cents a week. That's a steal for Vince's content, you guys. Also, you interviewed Stone Cold Steve Austin recently.
And you get that as a bonus, bro. If you set up, if you sign up for $2.95 a month, you go to russosbrand.com. You get an interview I did with Austin. And, bro,
a video interview. He never does those.
And, bro, can I tell you the best? Did you see it, bro?
Yeah, I saw the preview clip. I'm going to watch it after this week.
Let me tell you the best thing about the video. The video. If you got a minute, Sean, I got to tell you a story.
Of course,
bro. When Jeff Jarrett came back to the WWE, when he was dressed in all that Aztec costume. I don't know what Jeff was doing, bro. I honestly don't. But, bro, he had an in-ring that night, Sean, and I wrote the entire in-ring for him, okay? So Jeff Jarrett is one of those guys, Sean, that I had to write every word for him. You know, some people you had to do that with. Some people, they didn't want you to write nothing. Yeah. So I wrote out his whole promo, so he memorizes it, and, bro, he comes to me at the last minute, and he goes, Vince, I added one thing to the promo. And I said, what's that? And he goes, well, I added something about the Austin 316, you know, really offending me because, you know, Jeff's like a Christian guy. And I said, bro, are you sure you want to go down that road? Yeah. Austin will be cool with it, right? So, bro, Jeff goes to the ring. He cuts the promo. He delivers the Austin 316 line, said it was blasphemy. He was insulted by it. Bro, the next thing I know, I'm watching behind the curtain. Guess who stands right next to me? Freaking Austin. Bro, I never saw a man that red in the face in my life. Blood vessels. He was just waiting for Jeff to come through that curtain, right?
How'd that go down?
Well, Jeff comes through the curtain, and, bro, Austin was straight away in his face. Bro, I never saw anybody in my life do the back pedal than I did see Jeff that night, backpedaling. But Steve didn't want to hear it. Steve was BS, right, bro? So, bro, of course, he does my podcast. Bro, this is 1997. This is like 20 years ago, man, right? So he does my podcast, and I bring up the incident. And, bro, Austin got hot all over again, like it just happened last night. And the more I talked about it, the hotter and hotter he got. I thought it was the most entertaining thing that Austin is still just as upset today as he was 20 years ago about it. And I'm telling you, bro, that alone is worth 75 cents a week.
That is fantastic. I can't wait to see that. I've been stacked with work during this week, but I was really excited to check that out after this calmed down. And Steve never does video interviews, so that's a coup.
Yeah, no, he did me a huge favor. I did his show twice now, and bro, he did me a huge favor by coming on my show. So it's really, really good.
Guys, like I said, be sure to join us again tomorrow night. Also, I have a feature coming out. If you all like my Muhammad Hassan feature, I spoke to a lot of people, Vince included, about my new feature.
Bro, I got to tell you something, Sean. I'm sorry to keep you for so long, but I know you've done 27 now. Bro, guess who I saw at WrestleCon?
I bet I know who you saw.
Who?
Does it start with a B?
Yes. Who?
Don't say it on the air. Don't say it on the air, because I haven't revealed the topic yet.
Bro, I will tell you this. Okay?
Huge, isn't he?
Bro, I think he could take Brock Lesnar.
He's enormous. Like,
bro,
I was so bummed that I couldn't talk to him for this, but I did like my research and looking him up. I couldn't make it work, but he's bigger than he was when he wrestled, right?
Bro,
it's terrifying.
Bro, it's unbelievable.
His wife looks like she could take Brock Lesnar.
Bro, I had to feel him. Bro, I mean, literally freaking granite, bro. I mean, bro, unbelievable. I mean, unbelievable.
You all will know who we're talking about, hopefully by the end of the week. I don't know exactly when it's dropping, but I know it's supposed to drop this week. But yeah, I have a feature coming out, have some final touches to put on it. I talked to a ton of people. I talked to Bruce Pritchard, Jim Ross, X-Pac, Vince Russo, all kinds of people, Ken Shamrock even. A lot of people about this feature. I hope you all like it. ddpyoga.com/wrestling inc. The Resurrection of Jake the Snake. TrendyButler.com. Offer code Wrestling10, all caps. Vince, anything to say to the people before we go?
No, bro. I'm positive. I'm giving the benefit of the doubt for tomorrow. I think there's going to be something big tomorrow. I'm not going to accept that tomorrow is going to end the way tonight ended. I don't believe that for a second. I'm very, very high and optimistic going into tomorrow's show.
As am I. I was entertained by tonight's show. A little puzzled by a few booking decisions. But that's it from Sean and Vince. Guys, we are out.